Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are currently in the world. We'll get started in a minute. We'll just give a couple more seconds to let people join the webinar. Okay, I suggest we get started. As I said, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm delighted that you've been able to join us for the live version of today's webinar. I know many people have registered to receive a recording. It's very difficult when we work globally to accommodate everyone's preferred time zone. So delighted that we are recording today's session and we will share that with everyone afterwards. Just some points on today's webinar. Like I say, we're recording it and we'll share that afterwards. We also want, for those of you who are able to join in the live discussion, to share with us any questions that you may have. So we've got quite a lot of data that we'll be sharing through today's webinar. So at the bottom of your screen, you will see a Q&A button. If you don't see the Q&A button, if you press the More button, you will then see it. And in the Q&A, you can type any question that you may have. So please feel free to use that extensively throughout today's presentation. And we've got time towards the end of our live broadcast today to go through and answer many of your questions. If there's some questions that we don't get to, if time runs away with us a little during the webinar, then we will certainly respond to all questions when we share the link in the follow-up to today's webinar. So let's get started. My name is Carmel Giblin, and I am the CEO of the Ethical Supply Chain Programme. Together with my colleague Anita Lowe, who is the ESCP Director of Worker Wellbeing, we will be sharing some highlights from our Worker Wellbeing programme with you over the next 50 minutes or so today. Worker wellbeing is at the very core of all we do at ESCP. And today I'm really pleased to introduce our Worker Wellbeing Impact report from 2025. This report clearly shows that investing in workers isn't just the right thing to do, it's a smart business decision. This year, we reached over 12,000 workers and more than 13,000 children through our programmes, and really wonderfully surpassed our 3-year target ahead of schedule. What stands out is the tangible impact: stronger retention, improved worker satisfaction, and more inclusive workplaces, driven by practical solutions like family-friendly childcare, gender equality initiatives, and trusted grievance mechanisms and communication channels for workers. Ultimately, the report demonstrates that when we support workers and their families, we build more resilient supply chains and better performing businesses. I hope from today's discussion, we bring these insights to life and they inspire further collaboration. So let's move on. Anita, if you could move to the next slide. So this slide just shows you some of our current worker wellbeing programs. We'll talk a lot more at the end of today's presentation about the future, but today really is focused on what we're doing now and the impacts of those activities. So there are 3 core elements of our current worker wellbeing programs. Our worker helpline, which has been implemented and hugely trusted since 2010. It launched in China in 2010, and then more recently we expanded the helpline to support workers in Vietnam. And this year and beyond, we have further plans to extend access to the worker helpline. Since 2010, the helpline has been accessible to more than 10 million workers. And it is really a truly effective grievance mechanism, but much more positively than just being a grievance mechanism, we view it as a really effective communication bridge. It enables workers and their employers to communicate and build relationships built on trust and transparency. And that's really important. So, worker helpline, effective grievance mechanism, a critical and core part of our worker wellbeing programs. We then have our gender equality program, and for anyone who follows me maybe on LinkedIn, you will see that we often talk about the impacts of our gender equality program because really disappointingly, we still know that it will take 123 years at the current levels of progress to achieve gender equality. And that to most of us is absolutely outstanding. So a really concerning figure, and an area that together we must make more progress on. We want to all live in a more equal world far sooner than more than a century away. And then we have the family friendly factory program. This is a program that has been excelling and overachieving versus our expectations right from the moment we launched it with the first childcare spaces way back more than a decade ago in 2015. Um, what is really, really special about the family friendly factory program is that it delivers real, measurable, positive impacts that are transforming workplaces and communities, as well as delivering business benefits. So we're incredibly proud of the three elements of our current worker wellbeing programs and delighted to be sharing more insights from them as we go through today's webinar. So the next screen is just a poll, and I'd like you to, my colleague will launch the poll, so you should see this now on your screen, and you just need to simply click the button that best represents your type of organization. So are you from a brand or a retailer? Are you a factory or a supplier? Maybe you're from the civil society area of our work. Trade unions, a multi-stakeholder initiative. So many of the toy associations, for example, that we work closely with, apparel associations, footwear, etc. You might be a consultant or indeed other, if none of the above describe you. So just tick or select the one that suits you best, and that will help us get to know who's on the call and who we're sharing kind of and maybe responding to questions on later. So the results of that are in. Thank you very much. Big majority today. Well, I guess equally split, but certainly across three areas. So we have a good representation from brands and retailers, from industry associations and multi-stakeholder initiatives, and then from trainers and others. So it's great to have such a breadth of stakeholders join us today. Thank you. So if we close the poll and move to the next slide, please, Anita. So in 2023, we set what was then a bold ambition, specifically to expand the family-friendly factory program. And we set out to benefit an additional 30,000 children by the end of 2025. And I'm absolutely delighted and incredibly proud to share that we exceeded that, what we thought at the time was an ambitious objective. So against our 30,000 target, we benefited more than 34,000 children. And really importantly, had a large participation from a number of factories. So 63 factories we can now recognise as being family friendly, meaning that for workers, it's a great place for them to work, where their employer really understands the benefits and the challenges that many of their workers have in balancing work and life responsibilities. So really delighted to see that on the 3-year ambition. I think the next slide possibly is maybe another poll. Let me just check with Anita. Oh no, sorry. One more before we get to that. And this is just really to applaud ourselves, but also applaud all the members that have made that achievement possible. So, like I said, over 60 factories have participated in the family-friendly program. We've had great support from funders, our primary funder, the Lego Group, and others, including people like Spin Master, Macy's, etc. So we've had huge support from many people to make this possible. And we were delighted this year, or in 2025, to have that collaboration recognized when we were awarded the Partnerships for Purpose Award from the Shared Value Initiative in Hong Kong. So thank you to all of you who made that possible. This was a really tough, I guess, award in terms of its criteria. And it was great to see that we were really recognized for delivering partnerships with purpose and results that were measurable and impactful. So thank you to all of you for working with us to achieve that great recognition. Now, the next slide is another poll, a quick poll. And again, my colleague will put the questions up, but it would be really helpful for us to understand where you are on your worker wellbeing maturity. So there's no right or wrong answer in this. Every organization is at different levels. And you may consider, for example, if you have an audit program that is verifying labor standards program, that may be a start point for you, or it may be your where you're at in terms of your considerations around worker well-being, ensuring, for example, that they work in safe conditions, that they're paid fairly, etc. But then we have the opportunity to go beyond traditional social compliance and audit programs and look at, are there opportunities to really think about the needs of workers and the needs of their employers? So it will be helpful to understand where you may be, particularly if we consider things like gender equality, family-friendly environments, access to effective communication and grievance channels. So my colleagues, again, put the answers up there. So fairly evenly split, ranging from, yes, people have scaled programs across multiple factories, which is fantastic. But then also some who don't have a formal program yet in place. All of those are appropriate and relevant, and it's good to understand where people are. And hopefully means that wherever you are in your journey, some of the insights that we'll share today will be really meaningful for you. And whether you're already committed or would like to commit further, hopefully today's webinar will give you some ideas and some inspiration about how you as an organization or you as an individual within an organization can help to make a real difference for the lives of millions of workers all around the world. So I will now hand over to my colleague, Anita Lowe, who I explained earlier is our Director of Worker Wellbeing at the Ethical Supply Chain Programme. And Anita will take us through more of the insights that are published in that report that I mentioned earlier. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Kamel, and welcome again to this webinar. Today, I will share some key achievements from each initiative within our Workers' Wellbeing Program. So the first one is our Family Friendly Factory Program, which we launched since 2016 with 2 pilot factories. And up to now, we have total 167 factories participated in this program and benefiting over 41,000 workers and 45,000 children. So just in last year, Kamel already mentioned that we have supported over 12,000 workers and 13,000 children. In total, there's 95 factories joined in the program. So under this Family Friendly Factory program, Kamel also introduced that we have 4 elements into that. Let me share more details about these 4 elements. So the first one is the policy work. We support factory to develop suitable policies to address the needs of their workers. The policy development is according to the guidelines of UNICEF Family Friendly Workplace Policy. So last year, from the need assessment results, we found that there's 83% of workers who participate in this need assessment saying that they have took some leave or absent during the past year because of the childcare issue. 82% they saying that they don't have enough spare time to spend with their family because of work. And then 69% they saying that they have a very high pressure by raising their children. And 50% of workers saying that they did not have enough paid leave to handle family issue. And there's also 49% of workers had concern about their children's safety. The policy we introduced it, including the additional pay leave, provided breastfeeding support, flexible working arrangement, childcare support, and any kind of family well-being support. And in 2025, here are key impacts surrounding the policy work. So we benefit in total over 7,600 children and also benefit to the workers, 7,500 workers. And according to the feedback from the workers, they said that 95% of the workers saying that the policy helped them to work more efficiently. And then 92% saying that the policy improved their overall happiness. And there's a 91% saying that they increased their sense of belonging, 86% saying that increased the trust with their management. And we also talking to the managers from the factory. From their perspective, they also believe that the family-friendly policy project enhanced the factory image and help them to build trust with their customer. And then let me take you through another initiative we have under the family-friendly factory program is the childcare support. And we call it family-friendly space, which creates safe and stimulating environment for children. Last year marked our 10 years anniversary. We did a celebration with all participated factory. We total up to now have 95 factory joined in this initiative, support more than 9,500 children and over 10,000 workers in the past 10 years. We were able to support workers in their childcare needs, especially during long school holidays like summer vacation, allow workers continue working and no need to worry about their children being alone at home. The space also support children's development through a structured curriculum and activities. We have factory joined us for 10 years. They see the real benefits such as increased retention and the satisfaction rates of the workers. This initiative also allow us to bring benefits to the communities by easing the childcare burden for working parents, support in building better family relationship. So let's take a look at the result of last year. In 2025, we total have 59 space in China and in Vietnam. We supported over 2,300 workers and also over 2,300 children. So from this impact survey, the employees told us that they feel that the program, 93% of them saying that the program helped them to be able to stay with the factory because of that family-friendly space. This is one of the reasons they would like to continue working at the same factory. And then 86% of the workers saying that they no need to worry about their children anymore during the summer vacation. And also here showing that 83% saying that now they have a closer relationship with their children. Because in the program, some of the parents, they have the left behind children. So their children actually living in their hometown. So during the summer vacation, they are able to bring their children to the place where they work so that they can spend the whole summer together. So that's enhanced their relationship. So from the factory management perspective, 97% of the factory management saying that the program or the initiative helped them to improve worker satisfaction. And then over 80% saying that that program helped them to better recruit the workers as well as reduce the turnover rate. Okay, so here just want to show you that last year was our first year in Vietnam. So although we only have one space in Vietnam last year, but we got a very positive feedback from the workers, from the management. You can see that really 100% they're saying that their children learn new things. They don't worry about their children while they're working, and 94% of their children having a great time during the summer. So here I share that there's a quote from a worker during the interview. She said, "I feel at ease going to work without worrying about the safety of my children anymore." So the quote from the worker is a very major motivation for us to continue scaling the program, and then it also demonstrates the success of the program. Okay, so let's take a look at another initiative under the Family Friendly Factory program. Is the professional training related to parenting skills. So we help our workers to kind of like throughout this training to help them equip with some very practical skill so that they are able to build a stronger relationship and help them to support their children development. So right now, in this parental training, we have 6 different topics, including playful parenting, establish a positive parent and child relationship, digital safety, because we understand that a lot of children are using cell phone right now or iPad, iPhone. So that is important as a parent to set up certain structure and guidelines with their children so that they won't be addicted to the digital device. And then another topic is about protect your children at school, try to identify bullying, and also teach them how to respond to it if that's really happened. And also how to simulate children learning motivation. That's important to parents, how to ensure your children to do a good job at school, and then helping children understand and manage their emotion. So we will work with the factory management and then to identify which are the suitable topics to be deployed in the facilities. So in last year, in total, we have 31 factory joined the training program, and then we are able to train over 1,800 workers. And it's also indirectly impact the children, over 2,800 children. So you can see the feedback from the workers, nearly 100% saying that the training is really useful and very practical, which allow them to enhance their family's happiness and also allow them to using those skills to build a relationship with their children. And then here is one worker also from Vietnam. She's saying that the training taught her how to regulate her emotion and also co-regulate the emotion with her child. Because a lot of time parents won't notice that parents' emotion actually will directly impact the emotion of their children. So this particular worker shared with us that she is very happy because now she can strengthen the relationship between herself and her children. And then let's take a look into our another initiative under the Family Friendly Factory program is the Family Day. So this initiative we created since 2024. We started in Vietnam. Last year, we continue roll it out in Vietnam. We have 4 factories joined last year. Around 400 workers and children participate in the event. And also we got a very positive feedback from all participants. They said they had a great time. Through the activities in the Family Day event, help to strengthen the relationship between parents and children. So we plan to roll this out in China and Indonesia later this year. So the above are all the elements under the Family Friendly Factory. So let's take a look in some details about another worker well-being program, which Kamel also mentioned, is our gender equality program. So in this program, we have around 6 areas we will talk about, including like equal pay and recruitment opportunity, career development opportunities, work-life balance, prevention of workplace violence and sexual harassment, maternity protection, etc. So I'm not sure whether you all are aware about that global gender gap report, which Kamel also mentioned a little bit. This report was published by World Economic Forum each year. We just look at the last year report. So they are saying that with the current pace or in the gender equality work we do, I mean, around 148 countries. So we need 123 years to become fully gender equalities. So we definitely need to work together closely to shorten the time to achieve fully gender equality. Another piece of information I would like to share with you that it's very actual challenge on the ground because we are running our own worker hubline. I will share more details about the hubline later on. But throughout the last 3 years in our worker hubline, we received around 11 complaints related to workplace violence, sexual harassment from 9 factories. And then after further investigation and understanding the background of the factory, we found that 90% of these 9 factories, they have very, very high percentage of migrant workers. So that means the workers are from different provinces and regions. So we believe that with the various backgrounds, differences in culture, dialect, and custom may causing a lot of communication breakdown, may causing a lot of issue in that facilities. And also we found that these 9 factories they don't have very clear internal complaint handling process and procedure. They also, most of them don't have sufficient investigation procedure, so which also causing the issue. So our gender equality program is to help them to build a comprehensive and effective system, including the policy, procedure, and processes. This project or initiative we launched in 2023. Up to now, we provided training to more than 20,000 workers through online training content. Also provide more than 4,600 training to the workers in person. So all the factory, when they join this program, they will do a self-assessment to understand their current system and policy procedure related to gender equality. So after they complete this program, so they will fill in the self-assessment form again so that we can compare the differences. From the last year, the factory participate in the program, we found that there is a 36% increase in the scoring. So, which show that it's very successful when they deploy the program, they can see dramatic increase in terms of their system and their policy. And then we also check with the what are the feedback from the workers and then from the management. So you can see that a lot of workers and management they saying that they are aware that they have the gender equality program. They also have a good system and policy in place. So we all see a very good positive feedback from them. And we even though follow up with one factory who joined this program since 2023. And then we asked them what they feel after they joined the program. So the factory managers told us that they have seen a lot of positive changes, including stronger understanding of gender equality and also collaboration across genders become more smoother. And then even though the team conflict have fallen by around 20%. So this feedback is really showing the success of the program. So this help the workers management better understand what is gender equality. And then, sorry, and also they can have a very comprehensive system policy in place to enhance the gender equality. Okay, let's take a look at the last piece of our workers' well-being program is our worker helpline. So this helpline, we launched it in 2010 and then in China, and then we expanded in Vietnam in 2021. Just in 2025, just last year, we supported nearly 300,000 workers in both in China and Vietnam. And then we talk about that since 2010. It has been last year for 15 years. In the past 15 years, we supported nearly 10 million workers around in China and in Vietnam. So let me share some key statistics about the helpline in last year. So last year, we handled around 1,000 cases from China and from Vietnam, cover nearly around 700 factory. Over half of the calls we received from March and July. That really reflect the peak production season of the factory we work with or the user, the factory using this helpline. And then our team, there's using 5,000 minutes to talk to the workers over the phone because our helpline is people-elected helpline. So the workers would directly call the line and directly talk to my team. So they will spend time on the phone to understand the issue and provide support to the workers. And one interesting figure is we found that 73% of caller were male. And despite there's female, over 60% of female in the workforce, we believe that because China and Vietnam, males were still the primary earners for the family. So if they face issue at work, they probably would like to resolve it immediately to stay employed. So that's why we got more call from male rather than female. And then most of the cases we received can be resolved with phone calls. Only very small percentage cases we need to have a further investigation. So here is just highlights from different initiatives to show you the impact and achievement. So there's more data, information, and details in our report. We've already published it. You feel free to download from our website. So I understand that many of you would like to know how the program benefit can be transformed to a business benefit. Before I share with you a real case from a factory, I would understand which benefits you think is most important to your organization. So thank you, Aria, to put up the post. You can select maybe reduce grievance and conflicts is the most important, or improve retention, reduce turnover, or either better labor compliance and audit outcomes, higher productivity and quality, reduce operation disruption or fewer remediation cycle, and also like reputational risk reduction or others. So feel free to select what is the benefit you think is most important to your organization. Because I know you guys are coming from different organization, different industry, so you may have different focus. If you're a brand, you're a factory, so your focus may be different. Okay, let's see okay, wow. We see most of you is 71% saying that better labor compliance and audit outcomes. And then there's a few percentage about reduced grievance and conflicts. So definitely throughout our workers' well-being program, we definitely can support better labor compliance and audit outcome, especially from a worker helpline, because we will know what is the real issue on the ground, because the workers can call us directly. So then we can fix the issue before it's become even worse. So definitely that can help. So, okay, let me go to my next part is the case study. So here I would like to take you through a case study, a real case from a factory who joined our family-friendly factory program since 2016. So what are the benefits they are able to generate after they launched the program, and how it translates to a dollar value to the factory. So let's take a look, first take a look why this particular factory want to join the family-friendly factory program. So at that time, they are really facing a high worker turnover rates. And then they understand the workers leaving the factory due to childcare issue, because this factory, they have a lot of migrant workers. The workers have a lot of children still living in their hometown. So a lot of time, especially during the summer vacation, they would like to go back and visit, spend time with their children. And then they also definitely facing a lot of low productivity rate, because a highly unstable workforce. And then they face higher absentee rates because a lot of workers during summer vacation would like to take time off. And then sometimes they will take leave to take care of their family. And then they did a survey to better understand their workers, what they want. Actually, a lot of workers saying that they want to be with their children, so they understand that they need to work outside their hometown, but they still would like to have more time with their children. So therefore, we introduced our family-friendly factory program to that particular factory. So they started in 2016. And then here is some key impacts they share with us. So after they launched the program, they see that there is a 38% decrease in employees' absentee rate, and then 74% decrease in worker turnover rate, especially their workers resign during the summertime because they want to go back to their hometown. But their childcare support, we set up a childcare facilities in their factory. So during the summertime, they can take their children from their hometown to the factory and then spend time with their children. And then there's an 80% decrease in work-related injury incident, and then 10% increase in employee satisfaction rate, and then 27% increase in successful recruitment and timeliness. That means if they need to recruit the worker, so they are able to recruit it on time because they have better reputation, more worker would like to work with them. And then from those data, so we work out how it can be translated to a dollar value. So based on the reduction in the workers' turnover rate, so they calculate it, they can save around 90,000 US dollar, which is annually, which because they don't need to putting money in terms of recruiting new workers and putting resources to train the newcomers. And then especially the first month, a lot of workers, the productivity rate probably will be lower. So that's also calculate into that dollar value. And then in the absentee rates reduction, they calculate it, they found that there is around 60 less workers on leave daily. So because there's quite a big factory, over a couple thousand workers factory. So they calculate that productivity value is around 21 per person per day. So that's helped them around increasing around 350,000 US dollar. They just calculate 280 work days. This is just for the absentee rate. And then last P is about the work-related injury. So the case is much less. So that's helped to save the compensation. But of course, under the work-related injury, compensation is not the key. The most important is the safety and the health of the workers. So, but in total, this particular factory calculated they can save around 450,000 US dollar per year. So that is really significant number. And also, this is not including any tangible benefits, like, for example, able to have a better reputation, to connect with new customer, able to get more new orders from a new customer. So that's not included in that calculations. So this chart just to show you how the benefit from the worker well-being program can be translated to the money-wise to the factory. So my next poll question to you guys is, in your experience, what is the strongest link between workers' well-being and business performance? Is this a worker retention to a link to stable workforce, health and safety, fewer incident and downtime, worker voice, faster issue resolution, better engagement linked to productivity and qualities, compliance, maturity, fewer corrective action, or you are not quite sure because you are not in the journey of workers' well-being yet, or you think that's various by site. So can take some time to give your answer so that we can understand what you feel about the linkage in between the workers' well-being benefits translated to the business performance. Okay, let's see. Okay, 50% saying that's better engagement. So linked to the productivity and qualities. And also about 33% about the worker voice, so that we can resolve the issue quicker. Yeah, I understand that someone 17% saying that's not sure. So definitely we see that a lot of workers' well-being program benefits, which can engage better of the workers, so that's to link to better or higher productivity and or higher qualities. So before we open the floor for questions, I would like to invite Kamal to share our ambitions. Kamal, over to you. Thank you.
Thanks, Anita. And thank you for all the questions that have come through so far. We will get to those in a moment. And if anyone has any questions now following the data that Anita has shared with you, please use the Q&A button on the bottom of your screens. I think it was really interesting in the presentation that in the first poll, most people thought the benefits of worker wellbeing related really to compliance and better audit. And none of you, I think, actually picked on things like higher productivity or the impact to a company's reputation of not providing for worker well-being. So I think those are, and it's interesting to see in the latter poll, they had come through a bit more. So For us, definitely, the reason that the worker well-being program has been so successful is sustainable, and we want to scale it because of the need and the sustainability, is because it delivers measurable business benefits. So it impacts for workers directly and meets the needs that they have, but it also delivers for their employers. And that's really important. And when you start to see financial metrics like cost savings of 450,000 US dollars per year for one facility alone, it shows you the scale of what can be achieved. And that's why my very first comment was this isn't just about doing something that's nice to do. It's actually a really important business strategy because often our labor, our workforce, our employees are our most expensive asset, if you like, but they're definitely an asset, but they are our biggest area of expenditure. And if we can meet their needs and in turn improve business performance, it makes absolute sense to me to do that. And I hope it makes sense to many of you also. So before we go to the Q&A, just I wanted to take the opportunity really to share with you our ambition, inspired by what we've learned since we've been, operating the helpline and more latterly with the family-friendly factory program. We have a much bigger ambition. And this is very early days in sharing it to you, so there's a lot more to come. But later this year, we will be launching Impact 1 million, which is a big new ambition where we aim to support 1 million people globally through our efforts in, sorry, Anita, you're ahead of me. Sorry. So where we want to support 1 million people globally through scaling of the existing ethical supply chain program, worker wellbeing programs, and indeed an expansion of those. So we're doing a lot of work currently to understand to even greater extent the needs of workers, the needs of their employers, global objectives from foundations and other funders to really support a scaling of the worker wellbeing program. So we are really excited to be able to come back to you soon and talk further about Impact 1 million. If we move on. So, what is Impact 1 million? Like I say, it's not launched publicly yet. So, this is a soft pre launch, really, a bit of a sneak into our future ambitions. But we are building something which will be a global movement focused on improving the lives of supply chain workers and their families. We know that if we help workers, we help their children, we help the communities that they work in, as well as obviously their places of work. This new global movement will be powered and informed by our experiences of audit and social compliance and labour standards development, and led by our teams on our ground and a much wider network of partners and experts. We want to turn kind of collective support and commitment to making a difference into practical actions that really deliver for workers directly. And through this movement, we'll be bringing businesses, employees, and community together. We really want to drive change at scale to make a real dent in some of these very sad statistics, like 120 plus years to achieve gender equality. We know we can do better. We know we need to do better as a global community. And Impact 1 million is our opportunity to help companies and individuals make a real difference. So we'll come back to you in the very near future with much more on this really exciting new ambition. And I really hope that many of you will be with us on that journey where we really will make a difference to 1 million people. So that is, I think, the end of the presentation. We'll now move on to Q&As. And I'm delighted we've got so many, so thank you for those. I'm going to run through them in no particular order, and some I'll answer directly and some, Anita, I may ask you to respond to. So let me start. Kate, there's quite a few questions from you. Thank you so much. We really appreciate your active participation in today's webinar. Really happy as well to continue the conversations on beyond today's webinar. So I think on the final slide when we wrap up, we'll be able to share with you our contact information. So please do get in touch to continue any of these conversations. But I think the first was more kind of a statement, really. So not entirely sure what we mean, but when we talk about worker well-being. There's two levels, I think. There's the very basics, and all labour standards programs, codes of conduct, etc., supplier commitments, and so on, do set out that workers should be treated fairly, their rights respected, they should work in safe conditions, and they should be paid appropriately for all the work that they do. That's definitely at the very basics. When we talk about worker well-being, we're talking about going beyond the basics of what you would expect through a typical social compliance or a typical code of conduct. We see those as really important in establishing that you are working with a business who is committed to creating a fair working environment for their workers, and they respect the rights of their workers. We think that is the baseline. But beyond that, when we see these committed employers, we know that there is an opportunity to look at their business challenges and their needs, and also the needs of their workers and employees, and look at how, by meeting and addressing those, we can have a sustainable, scalable impact on business. So for us, worker wellbeing is beyond the basics of social compliance, but that has to be there as a start point. It's really important that this is a really authentic and robust program that is implemented by companies who truly are committed to making a difference and going beyond the basics. Next question up was, how do you start? I think, yeah. How do you start? Do we begin with a needs assessment and workers' feedback? Yes, absolutely. It's really important for us that the program is grounded in workers' needs. So there is no point us taking funding from whatever source and deploying it into something that doesn't deliver positive impact. So understanding the needs of the workers and understanding the needs of their employers also, and maybe their families, is really important. So yes, needs assessment, critical part of the process. Anita, maybe you could cover off which countries are the programs available, and do we have any expansion plans?
Okay, yeah, sure. So currently, the program deployed in China and Vietnam. We are planning to expand it in Indonesia, and definitely we will continue expand in different country. It depends on the needs. So we also gathering about the any demands in different country, and then we can plan what initiative should be suitable for that particular country. So if you are interested in our program, right now our program is not in the country you are doing sourcing from, or not in the country you want to be, please reach out to us. We can discuss more, and then we can identify what are the demands in that particular country, and then what are the needs. We can deploy a suitable program over there.
Great. Thank you, Anita. So next one, I think, was around feedback from workers. Our programs, like say the Her Project, are good, but actually what they want is to be better paid. Totally understand that. We need to make sure that the basics are in place. And that's kind of to my earlier question. We need to make sure that workers have these basic expectations in place, that they're paid appropriately, that they work within safe tolerances of working hours, etc. But what we do see is the factories who go beyond the basics, either required in law or by code set out by organizations like the Ethical Supply Chain Program. Companies who go beyond that and introduce, for example, flexible working arrangements for staff with families. So they have policies that enable them to take time off if they have sick children, or companies who provide access to childcare. Those things either enable the families to spend more time together, or they reduce the cost burden on the workers. So what we hope and what we see through the program is that workers have more disposable income because some of their needs are met through their employment. It may not be a direct increase in their salary or their wages, but it may be that access to benefits that are really important and valuable to them and meet their specific needs are delivered through their employer. So I totally agree. We need to, and that's one of the important things within our design of the programs that we have to date and in the future, is that they really are sustainable and scalable. And that only happens when there are real impacts for the workers and that they're affordable from their employers as well. So yes, I think we're very aligned on that question. Which parts are most practical for factories to adopt quickly? Anita, probably you are better placed to answer that. I think it's always good to make some progress. Sometimes these programs can seem
Mm.
overwhelming and a lot of commitment from resource or whatever it may be within the factory. So what would your kind of top tip
Yeah,
be to get
yeah.
started?
Yeah, when I see this question, sorry, but I think that all is practical. So because you will have ESCP team to support the factory, but I think as Kamel said, different initiatives have different length of commitment. So some initiative we need the factory to provide more resources. So I would say under the family friendly factory program, the family day and then the parental training because the commitment comparatively is lower. So the family day is just a day event, and the parental training also is just a day event. So yeah, that was my suggestion. That will be quickly your supply chain can be started immediately.
Great,
Yeah,
thank you. I'm conscious that we've only got a couple of minutes
yeah,
left, so I may not get to all the questions today, but if we don't answer them all live, then we will certainly follow up on when we send out the link to the recording also. But let me just continue on through them. Is it possible to tailor the initiatives to meet the needs of our supply chain? Absolutely. The ethical supply chain program is, if you like, compliance program agnostic almost. So within the worker well-being, we deploy we deploy the programs with many factories who are in our certification program, but it's not essential that your suppliers are in our certification program. So we are delivering programs, be they on gender or on access to helpline support that are for suppliers outside of the ethical supply chain. They may be in another program. They could be in SEDEX, Amfori, and any other ones. So yes, we're able to tailor initiatives specifically to your needs, definitely. The funding model. The funding model is, again, and this comes back to sustainability and scalability. We've been very pleased to be supported with significant funding from companies including the Lego Group, Spin Master, Macy's, and many others who have enabled these programs to be implemented. They're only funded and supported in the initial implementation, for example, on family friendly spaces. That helps the factories implement them in year one with support. It enables them to get involved in the program without it being a big investment. And it enables them to see the business benefits before they then go on and invest. And that's really been demonstrated that the factories that we fund in this program receive funding one time for one part of the program. They then continue to fund it themselves in subsequent years. And I'm delighted that the first factories that we piloted the family friendly spaces, for example, the childcare, back in the launch more than a decade ago, have continued to provide that facility and indeed enhance it significantly since they launched. So the funding model, again, really important that we consider its sustainability and it's not just all based on grants and so on, which can come and go depending on the world that we're operating in. And then my last one will just be around worker voice. Worker voice is critical. Workers being engaged in our program is absolutely central. It always has been. For the worker helpline, we see that as a really important way to help workers when they have an issue of concern and they want to talk to a person. But in terms of how do we engage workers on a more ever on, if you like, platform or have constant learnings that we can share both ways, understanding the needs of workers, then I think that worker voice element is critical. So yes, it will absolutely remain a fundamental part of what we're doing in regards to worker well-being. So we are bang on the hour now. So we'll wrap up the today's webinar. This slide just gives you some contact details, Anita's email address, and also our website, and a link there to download the worker wellbeing report. Really importantly, we are now recruiting factories to join the 2026 Family Spaces program. So if you have a supplier or you are a factory, please get in touch and nominate. Nomination is no commitment. It will just give us an opportunity to reach out and talk to you a bit more about what's involved, what support is there, and how we can make it a really successful expansion of what you're doing to support workers in your supply chain or indeed in your own company. Thank you very much for your time today. Thank you, Anita, for such brilliant data sharing. And we look forward to working with you all in the future and sharing more on our Impact 1 million ambition in the coming weeks and months. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.